Ashland ranked #1 in the state, Roseburg #6. Tonight, though, the explosion is pretty much one-sided. The earth shaking on Walter A. Phillips Field. Ashland goes airborne right out of the locker room. Very first play from scrimmage. Jeremy Steinman has a touchdown, but Jason Robustelli can't quite run under it. Robustelli comes back to boot a pair of field goals. Then it's a three-way team effort to score a Grizzly touchdown. Defense does it on Micah Wolf's interception. Special teams steps forward moments later on the punt coverage. The Wolfman returns again with a strip. Ashland recovers. Finally, David Buchanugan juices up the offense. It's a nifty move inside and out for the Book. He's almost gone, 39 yards to the 2. He scores on the very next play, and at the halftime break, it's Ashland in command, 14-0. Remember that Steinman Robustelli bomb to start the game? Well, they try it once again on the first play of the third quarter. This time, it's a 70-yard home run. That makes it 21-0 Grizz. It's 24-0.
My biggest game of my life, and gotta go all to my O-line. They shot double B dogs, double B linebacker stunts, and my O-line picked them up, and we got the praise.
You know, I think we had a little more quickness and speed edge once again this year in our receivers anyway, and that was a big difference.
What is it those Grizzlies and Jim Nagel are feeding those players? They beat Roseburg, a very good ball club tonight, and they really do it, as I mentioned, very thoroughly.
Okay, Dan. Well,
it's hard to believe. One game during the season, that can make or break an SOC championship, but that may have been the case tonight in Ashland. Just maybe. The top-ranked Grizzlies hosting 6th-ranked Roseburg, and the hometown fans would not go away disappointed. Standing room only tonight in Ashland. The Grizzlies literally kicking the Indians out of town in this one. A field goal by Jason Robustelli made it 3-zip, and look at the Buchanugan go. The name you love to say, David Buchanugan, 26 yards around right in. Another Robustelli field goal would make it 6-zip. He would end up on the night with 3 field goals. Not a bad night for him. Ashland tries to come back, but Thurman Bell's club couldn't get it going. Mika Wolf, you love the Grizzly names, picks this one off. That would lead to another Ashland touchdown, of course, by Buchanugan. He sneaks it in from 2 yards out, takes a few hits in the process. Ashland would lead 14-zip at the half. They would give up 2 late fourth-quarter touchdowns. That's Jim Nagel way up there. Coach Nagel sits in the press box. 24-14, the final. Ashland should stay #1 for another week. Well, a wild finish tonight at Spiegelberg.
The original except no imposters once again. To my right, FNF host Tom Recepke. To my left, FNF analyst Joe Brett, and I'm Ty Ray. And we start things tonight in the SOC Week 2 big matchup. Ashland, the #1 team in the state, against #6 Roseburg. This is always a tough game.
Last year, these two teams hooked up Week 2 early in the season. A defensive battle. Ashland wins at 14-7. Same kind of a contest tonight. Now, I know it's only the second week of the season, but this could be the game that decides the SOC champion. And you can't get much better at this time of the year. The state's #1 ranked team, Ashland, against #6 Roseburg. Out to Ashland we go, and the first play from scrimmage for the Grizz. Jeremy Steinman goes up top for a wide-open Jason Robustelli, and it's just off his fingertips. Robustelli wouldn't get 6, but he would get 3 at the end of the drive as he boots a 29-yard field goal with plenty to spare. Ashland's on the board, Robustelli with 2 first-quarter field goals. Roseburg on the move after a big game by Travis Scott. Quarterback is hit by a player, and he throws an interception. Michael Wolf barking at the moon and coming up with the pick, ending the threat. The Grizz comes up with another turnover. This time it's special teams. Mark Miller with the return for the Indians, and he gets popped by Darren Gaston. The ball is loose, and Ashland comes away with it. This time the Grizzlies capitalize. On the very next play, David Buchanugan gets the call, and he looks like Roger Kingdom as he hurdles an Indian and is finally dragged down at the 2. On the very next play, Book gets the call once again, and somewhere in the commotion, he punches it over for the score. Jim Nagel opting for the 2-point conversion. Quarterback Jason Steinman rolls out, finds a hole, and shoots through. Ashland goes on to win the tough early season battle, turning back Roseburg 24-14. 24 points for Ashland tonight, Joe, but they kind of had a problem getting things going.
Well, I think it was a great defensive game. Both teams held near 100 yards or under 100 yards in the first half. This was not a typical Ashland-Roseburg matchup, though. Ashland got up 24-0 before Roseburg scored on the second string, so the #1 team in the state did not hurt its ranking tonight. This is some of the best football in the state by far. There's some great action.
And not bad football.
The #9 Indians feeling they have something to prove. Nothing settled in the first half. The hometown Cavemen lead 10-7. But all-everything quarterback Matt Smith has Grants Pass really clicking in the third quarter. Taking on the South Medford Panthers in the ball game tonight. Now the Panthers. Okay, well, we have the wrong tape up there, but that does happen in live television. South Medford, I am amazing, or somebody is back there. All right, Ashland High School and the Panthers taking on their men. The Panthers, a 60-yard run by Casey Curtis. He gets it all the way down there. A couple players taking their action to the sideline. Tried to waste the photog coming up, and then a slant pass right there. Todd Coffey wide open from Jeremy Steinman. For the first time this season, though, the Grizzly D lets down. The first-team defense scored upon for the first time. Derek Vaughn turns out to be the man who has gone 31 yards. The Grizzlies tack on the short-range David Buchanugan field goal. Panthers put up a whale of a fight, but in the end, Ashland barely escapes 25-22. That is a close ball game. And I'll tell you what, Ashland Grizzlies just hang on. So it's Ashland Grants Pass, both undefeated at 4-0.
Full football action, just chock full of football.
Watching them out there, you know, I wanted to get out there and do a little bit of that football.
Were you a high school football player?
I wasn't. That's why I wanted to get out. I can tell the hits that those guys
Now
put
you
out
know
there.
enough about football to actually be competitive.
Exactly right. Well, you know, 6th grade football, that did me pretty well. Not too bad, but pretty well. I wasn't the best. It was good. Ashland up 8-zip. Head coach Larry Walker, you know, he's not worried. Check out the defense. Mark Tomasello picks it off. He's off and running. The Grizzly crowd stunned. Ashland doesn't make turnovers like that. The Panther bench starting to think upset. Then the offense puts him on the board. Trey Berkey, one of 2 touchdown runs on the night. This one 38 yards out. Suddenly, South Medford down 8-6. The 2-point conversion was missed, though. That was the score midway through the second quarter. Then David Buchanugan in for the injured Jason Robustelli kicks the field goal. 11-6 Ashland at this point, but mistakes. Something you never see Ashland do. It almost cost him the game. That right there, roughing the kicker. That gives South Medford the ball back. Guess who gets it? Trey Berkey one more time. Touchdown South Medford. The Panthers up 14-11 at the half. The Ashland crowd cannot believe it. This is the 2-point conversion. A great catch right there for quarterback Matt Berry to Derek Vaughn. But this is how it looked at the half, 14-11. Second half, Micah Wolf would score. And here's the big score right here. Casey Curtis all the way around in. Ashland up 25-14 at this point. They go on for the 25-22 win. They have to hold off South. A wild finish. South falls to 1-3. Ashland remains undefeated. But definitely another classic tonight in Ashland.
Well, of the Grizzlies, pretty much the same tonight. Quite a scare.
The mystique of Walter A. Phillips Field in Ashland. South somehow has the Grizzlies number on Ashland's turf. Ashland's last home loss came to the Panthers 2 years ago. Larry Walker on the south sideline had his 1-2 Panthers ready once again, but he watched as Casey Curtis ran through his defense. Here in the first quarter, the big senior sheds a Panther, gets a block and rumbles 60 yards to the 20-yard line. Curtis with 222 yards rushing. Then it's Jeremy Steinman throwing the slant to Todd Coffey. It's more like espresso as the Grizzlies quickly get on the board and lead 8-0. After a Mark Tomasello interception for the Panthers, South mounts a drive, and who has the football? It's Derek Vaughn, number 31. The junior fools everyone and scuttlebutts 40 yards for the touchdown. South cuts it to 8-6. Penalties then hurt the Grizz. A roughing the kicker penalty kept the drive alive for the Panthers. They capitalize. Vaughn takes a cold shot, babe, and busts in from 6 yards out. And for the first time all season, it's Grizzly behind 14-11. Second half, Ashland defense sets the tone. Panthers QB Matt Berry gets taken down deep in his own territory by Mike Douglas. After a South punt, it's Curtis once again for Ashland. This time it's a 28-yard jaunt. He's not even touched. That's the go-ahead score. The senior would score one more time. Ashland holds off South Medford for the 25-22 win. A lot of things we can talk about in this one, Joe. It's 222 yards for Casey Curtis, but what it boils down to is another classic matchup between South and Ashland.
Classic is the perfect word, Tom. South came in a big underdog, the biggest underdog they'd ever been in their showdowns with Ashland's in recent years, and Larry Walker's troops just did nothing but show how tough they can be. They gave Ashland all they wanted tonight. To Ashland's credit, it's the first time they've been tested. It's the first time they've been behind all year, and they responded like champions. That's why they're #1 in the state. They really got a test tonight and responded to it.
You can never take a South Medford team for granted, that's
Absolutely not. They proved that tonight once and for all.
That's right, and I think South kind of has Ashland's number anyway.
They do. It's been a great series, and Larry Walker drops to 4-4 against Jim Nagel. Not many people can say that when you lose one to Jim.
And I'll tell you who has a number, and that's Roseburg on Grants Pass, at least in the past.